A particular illusion is the black hole effect. Following several major airline accidents in the 1960s, when airliners had crashed short of the runway at night, the Boeing company carried out research into what they called the black hole illusion. The researchers, Kraft and Ellsworth, explained that in the absence of lighted terrain between the aircraft and the runway, pilots attempted to maintain the same visual angle between the threshold and the end lights. However, a constant angle of approach to the runway, which is what is required, results in an increasing visual angle. By trying to maintain a constant visual angle, the flight path results in a curved approach, ending short of the runway. The black hole illusion occurs when there are no lights between the pilot and the runway, such as in approaches over water or unpopulated areas. The situation is worse if there are lights or rising ground in the far distance, or if there is an upsloping runway, or if a long, straight-in approach is attempted.
The problem is best avoided by not relying on one's visual cues, but by using the precision approach path indicators, avoiding long, straight-in approaches, and closely monitoring one's height, sink rate, and distance from the runway. The black hole illusion can also occur on takeoff, because the cinematographic illusion of pitch up may result in a false downward correction if there are no visual cues, especially on a dark night. In 2004, a Boeing 737 took off in Egypt on a dark night. It was flown VFR, over the desert and then the sea. It banked insidiously into an unrecoverable attitude and crashed into the sea. 148 people were killed. Thanks to the research of Captain Schiff and the Flight Safety Foundation, we have examples of two other illusions in poor visibility. Firstly, an approach or departure with reference to a single light. Here we see a wings-level aircraft flying abeam a light on the ground. The pilot feels safe because the light appears to be below him.
Here we see that the pilot has inadvertently banked towards the light, giving the impression that he is at the same height, causing him to climb or at least err on the safe side. Here the pilot inadvertently banks away from the light, giving the impression that he is higher than the light, when in fact he is not. Always rely on your instruments when there is no horizon. The second illusion referred to by the Flight Safety Foundation relates to inadvertent excursions in pitch, which can have serious consequences. Here we see an aircraft approaching a light or group of lights on the ground. Since the aircraft is maintaining a constant altitude, the pilot must look down at an angle to see the approaching lights. If the angle is sufficiently great, the pilot senses that he is at a safe altitude. However, if he allows the nose to rise when at low altitude, the pilot will form the dangerous illusion that he is at a safe altitude because the angle at which he now views the lights is greater. There are several illusions which occur because of the weather. Refraction is the bending of a light wave at the boundary of different media through which the light is passing. For example, water, then glass, then air. Raindrops on a windscreen will cause an image to bend, and so the eye sees the runway lower than it is. As a result, the pilot will then pitch the nose down towards the perceived position of the runway. This will bring the aircraft onto a shallower approach path. Rain on the windscreen at night can also make runway lights bloom. That is, they appear to be larger and therefore closer than they are. As a result, the pilot's approach may initially be too shallow. A heavy rainstorm, haze or fog between the aircraft and the runway will make the runway less clear and therefore appear to be further away. This will lead to a late, rapid descent as the real position is appreciated.
Conversely, very clear air, as in the Arctic regions, will make runways appear closer, leading to the pilot descending too early and making a shallow approach.
Smooth surfaces, such as calm water or snow, will make it difficult to judge height and distance. Entering a fog layer may create the perception of pitching up, resulting in an incorrect downward correction.
A wet runway reflects very little light, and this can affect depth perception, leading a pilot to believe that he is further away from the runway than he is.
To lessen susceptibility to illusions, reliance on instruments is paramount. However, crew should always be briefed on hazard awareness, hazard assessment, terrain awareness, types of approach, flight path monitoring, and crew resource management.
A problem of depth perception occurs when an aircraft approaches from the side, on a line of constant bearing. That is, the angle between the two aircraft remains constant, so the approaching aircraft remains in the same place on the windscreen, but increases in size. There is a real risk of collision as both aircraft are shortly going to occupy the same point in space. Another collision risk comes from high-speed traffic approaching from ahead, because it may produce a very small angular picture on the retina until it is very close. For example, two aircraft with a closing speed of 800 knots will only subtend a retinal angle of 0.5 of a degree with 3 seconds to impact, and only 1 degree at 1.5 seconds, by which time it is too late to take avoiding action. Fortunately, modern technology in the form of Aircraft Collision Avoidance Systems, ACAS, gives pilots reasonable warning of approaching aircraft. The system uses the secondary surveillance radar equipment, the transponder of both aircraft, to identify the relative position and movement of both aircraft. Keen observation of the sky is therefore essential for flight safety. Before we look at how this is best achieved, we need to look at the gazing mechanism of the eye. The fovea in the retina only has a small area in focus at any one time, and consequently, in order to compile an image of the whole scene, the eye samples the whole scene bit by bit. This constant sampling is also needed for the rods and cones to function, as they only respond to a change in luminescence. The movement from one sample or rest period to another is called a saccade. Together, the saccade and the rest period last up to 1/3 of a second. Unless the eye is tracking a moving object, it is constantly moving as it samples the scene. However, smooth vision of the scene is achieved by the visual cortex of the brain, which, in effect, fills in the gaps so that one is never conscious of the saccades. A pilot should therefore maintain a constant lookout with a good scanning technique. Such a technique should scan no more than 10 degrees of the sky for at least 2 seconds, and the sectors should overlap. The whole body and not just the eyes should be moved, and pilots should be aware of the blind spots in the cockpit, such as windscreen pillars. Also remember
that the eye at rest focuses on a point about 1.5 meters in front of it, known as empty field myopia.
Peripheral vision is vital because it detects movement, whereas the fovea focuses on a central image and keeps it centralized, even if it is moving. At night, it is the rods away from the fovea that are able to detect images, so peripheral vision at night is even more important. This is dealt with in detail on the lesson on vision in Part 1 of Human Performance and Limitations. In this lesson on cognition, we have looked at the illusions that affect pilots while flying, and which can mislead him as to his true position. A pilot needs his mental model of where he is to match reality, and this is called situational awareness, which is also considered in the lesson on errors. That concludes the lesson on cognition.